Rios left behind 3 sons. One was only 2 days old at the time.
We want to talk about the Alex Rios case.
Involving a misdemeanor domestic dispute.
To cover up misbehavior.
And he was working every day.
Shows Rios began shouting in his cell.
Both boots on his neck, it shows it.
It needs to have some closure, and we don't have that.
Everybody and their dog gets to watch this man.
And we warn you, the video is graphic.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Delete Laws. Do me a favor, everybody hit the like button. Put down in the comment section, OTVO, Overturned Terry versus Ohio. Just type it in there for me. This poster is the unedited history of the United States of America. This is your lynching graph right here. And then over on this side, you have your prison graph right here. And then along this black line are every president we've had from George Washington to Joe Biden. And then along the top here are all the Supreme Courts that we've had. Every single Supreme Court that we've had since the inception of the Supreme Court. And then here's your first 10 amendments right over here. And then these are all the figureheads. These cases strip away our fundamental rights. If you print this poster out and you stick it in your living room, people will stand around and talk about this poster for hours. This is really tough to watch.
19 News starts now.
A former Richland County corrections officer is going to trial next week, charged with manslaughter and reckless homicide. Thanks for joining us. I'm Caitlin McCarthy. The case is surrounding the death of an inmate who was being restrained by the officer. Now that victim's family wants the other officers involved to also be held accountable. Investigator Mike Mason brings us new details, but first, we want to warn you, the video you're about to see is very graphic and may be disturbing to some viewers.
For years, Don Mold has been seeking justice in the death of his 28-year-old son, Alex Rios.
And I never referred to him as my stepson, okay? He was my son.
The family admits Rios had run-ins with the law and a history of drug problems.
But he had come home, he was trying to get cleaned up, and he was working every day.
But that all changed on September 19th, 2019, when Rios was arrested for an outstanding warrant involving a misdemeanor domestic dispute. He was then transported to the Richland County Jail, and after several hours, video obtained from the sheriff's office shows Rios began shouting in his cell. That's when corrections officers tried to place him in a restraint chair. But when officers opened his cell door, Rios bolted. The video shows at least 5 officers soon catch up with him. And what happens over the next 4 minutes...
Watch this cop right here in the middle lift up his knee and drop it down in the guy's midsection. Look at his small little legs. Watch what his legs do when this great big pig on top drops his knee right into his gut.
And what happens over the next 4 minutes...
You heard it. You heard him go, ugh!
...is hard to watch. And we warn you, the video is graphic.
Use your taser!
I'm not fighting! Tasing!
Tasing!
No, take it off! No! Taser! I'm not even fighting him! Ow! 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 All right! Ow! Ow! Can someone
Try tasing!
Can you explain to me? Because you're...
No, you're...
I didn't say you were! Oh!
He took out of the cell.
Really?
Yeah, he's looking.
Oh!
20 seconds later, Cooper moves his foot down behind Rios' neck.
Yeah, he thinks he's
Soon, Cooper pushes his full weight on Rios, standing on the back of his neck, remaining there for 7 long seconds. You can even see his left foot dangling in the air. Back the video up, and you can see how Cooper puts both his feet on top of Rios.
He literally stands on him with both of his boots, both boots on his neck. It shows it. Everybody and their dog gets to watch this man.
Take me! Turn it off! Turn it off! Get beside me. Get up. All right.
Grab some... Oh, he's got him.
Cooper, you ready?
We got shackles.
Ready?
All right.
Yeah.
Shackles.
Give me the other hand. Bring it towards me, guys.
After 3 minutes of standing and kneeling on Rios, Cooper finally backs off.
He's turning. Straight up.
By that time, Rios' family says it was too late.
He's turning blue.
Get up.
He's brain dead. He's on a ventilator. What in heaven's name could have happened?
7 days later, Rios was pronounced dead. And while family members waited for answers, the autopsy report raised more questions. The Richland County coroner determined Rios' death was accidental, and the primary cause was due to excited delirium. According to numerous medical journals, excited delirium is characterized by severe agitation, combined with aggressive behavior, tolerance to pain, and extreme physical strength. But the condition remains controversial because many say it cannot be clearly diagnosed.
What do you think about the ME's diagnosis, though?
Okay, it's terrible. It's nonsense. It's shameful. Excited delirium's been used historically for, well, since the 80s to cover up misbehavior.
Mold had questions, so he was referred to retired forensic pathologist Paul Mattis. Mattis has conducted hundreds of autopsies during his 47-year practice. He also served as president of the Ohio State Coroners Association. Mattis points out that the term excited delirium is not recognized by the American Medical Association, National Association of Medical Examiners, or the World Health Organization. Although Mattis didn't conduct the autopsy, he reviewed the video and feels Rios died from asphyxiation caused by the corrections officer.
And he was taking terminal expiratory gasps and expirations where they were pushing the air out of him, and he couldn't breathe.
In 2020, the Bureau of Criminal Investigations completed an investigation into the case and referred it to a special prosecutor in Medina County. Last December, Cooper was charged with recklessly causing the death of Rios. We caught up with Cooper at his home in Shiloh.
We want to talk about the Alex Rios case.
All right, I can't talk to you. You have to talk to my attorney.
Okay. Can we ask you a question?
Not right now, I'm sorry.
Okay. Cooper's attorney also declined to comment. The Richland County Sheriff's Office provided a written statement saying, in part, the death of Mr. Rios was a tragedy, regardless of whether thoughtful people disagree about the reasons for this loss. The RCSO has cooperated fully with the investigation conducted by the special prosecutor and trusts in the criminal process to provide justice to the Rios family and former corrections officer Cooper. Mold feels criminal charges should also be considered against the other officers who were involved.
Let him freak out all he wants. You don't have to. If he was in that room freaking out and the door's locked, leave him right there.
Everybody in that room had a choice to make. And they choose what they choose. And it takes us 4 years to get an indictment on one person. What about the rest of the people that are in that room?
We just want justice.
And at the end of the day, Mike, excuse me, it needs to have some closure. And we don't have that.
He doesn't just right away, though, just so you guys know. He doesn't just right away. So they put all the weight on top of him, and then they tased him so that his heart started to act erratically, and then he went to an ischemic stroke. And then 7 days later, after his body tried to live, he
And we don't have that.
Rios left behind 3 sons. One was only 2 days old at the time. Mark Cooper resigned from the sheriff's office in December of 2021. We spoke with the special prosecutor in the case to find out if he's investigating the other officers, but he won't comment on that or the pending trial. In part 2 of our investigation, experts explain why the cause of death in this report has been called into question in other cases and what the Rios family is now doing about it. In the newsroom, Mike Mason, 19 News.
This is all that matters to me in the whole world, is that I change this system with your help. I can't do anything alone.